Hi. Don't mind following you.
Right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well. I know we are. We're in our black shirts today in support of the opposition to gender-based violence. Definitely a worthy cause. And yeah, just welcome to everybody that's joined.
Yes, thank you, Dario.
Ask Kopano.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. My name is Kopano. I am a design technologist at Moderna here. So today, we're going to be chatting about how Revit templates, MEP templates, and how we can streamline its backbone for design efficiency. All right?
Yeah.
So you need to go.
Absolutely. So definitely an important topic, and one that oftentimes gets sort of left by the wayside.
Exactly,
Yeah.
definitely, because like you say, often Revit template is seen as like the foundation of successful design workflows, but not all templates are designed equally.
Absolutely.
Right. So many of the firms will find their projects failing or struggling to start efficiently. So I guess this is why we here, and we even the templates in place. I mean, the real difference in how we will design this well-structured template is by data consistency.
Absolutely.
Right. So you agree to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The parameters naming,
naming conventions,
workflow, automation. It starts in the beginning of a template.
Absolutely. Another thing that templates do is they embed IP, which is great, and it's a happy side effect.
Exactly.
So it's company-specific naming convention. You'll be able to pick that up, and obviously see, where the template's being used, if it's being used in a way that it's not meant to be, that sort of thing. So it's a happy side effect, but it's one of those things that's definitely worth investing in. Yeah.
Exactly. And obviously we can utilize that to adapt for future standards as well.
Yes. I
mean, that can be brilliant if
all
firms can actually follow suit with the workflows and processes that we actually present to them.
Absolutely.
So so let's get into it. Just for housekeeping.
Yes, of course.
All right. The webinar is recorded, and then questions. We're going to interact with you guys. And if ever there's any feedback, please use our QR code or link that is provided in the chat. All right?
Magic. And yeah, in terms of interacting, please, unfortunately, we can't throw staples at us, but by all means, feel free to use your reactions if you've got any questions. Fire away. Use those interactions in the control panel to respond, or just indicate if you're happy with or not happy with what's being discussed. So yeah, feel free.
Yes, sir. So, like I said, our topic for today will be Revit MEP templates and streamlining its backbone for design processes. So now,
okay.
I thought that there was a glitch at the back there, but everything is going well. So we're going to do a bit of introduction, all right? Like I said, my name is Kopano Molefe. Those who didn't join in just a bit earlier, I mean, it's 5 minutes to our webinar now. But I'd like to tell you a bit more about myself. I'm a design technologist, right, for MEP. I'm representing MEP in the AEC industry. And I've got plus minus 15 years of experience in MEP. Basically started from the foundation of a drawing office, becoming a design draftsman, and then becoming a senior draftsman. And I know I've seen a lot of this, I wouldn't call it back forwards, but I've seen a lot of the future that happened in the past. So with my experience and with what I've got, I'm going to give it to the world now.
Awesome. That's fantastic. For me, from my side, I've been in the industry for a couple of minutes, 26 years. I'm a certified, an auditor certified instructor, platinum. I basically work in the architectural industry, but there's obviously a lot of bleed over into both structures and MEP. So that's the long and short of me.
Yeah.
Couple of minutes, as I saw a smiley face or something like that. Say, oh, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if we can move on to the deeds of today, we're going to be chatting about what is Revit MEP template and why does it matter, right? And we're going to look into the DNA of a strong MEP template, and we will reduce the manual work, the pain points that we're having through the industry, with the looks of a dynamo scripting. And then we'll have a conclusion and Q&A afterwards. Please, guys, like I said, if you have feedback or if you want to ask a question, please join in the chat. Dario and I, we're here, we're wonderful, and we are here for you to assist as well. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
So let me jump into it. So what is Revit MEP? So now, most often, we do have successful projects that are delivered, right? But not many companies or firms are actually able to do that, even if they do have templates in place, but the templates are set up incorrectly. There's a bit of some inconsistency in them. But then now, the question is, what is exactly is called the project template, right? So what we're looking at here is a configured, pre-configured file that will serve as a starting point for a new project.
Okay.
All right. Just a second. I just want to share my screen. Okay, if we're okay, we're good to go. All right, so I was explaining what Revit template is, and now as a starting point, obviously it will serve as a project, right? Project file.
Yes, what you'll use to start the project up.
Exactly. So I've been having some kind of a confusion with some of the students earlier during my trainings, whereby they seem like to forget or don't understand between a Revit template and a project template, right? So the simpler way that I can explain is by file formatting, right? As soon as you see as your file formatting is RTE, then you clearly see that it's a template. And then as soon as you see the RVT, you'll know that it's a project. So especially when you are saving this, all right? So for more MEP projects, templates include essential elements like ducting, electrical components, and systems specific views. So now, reducing repetitive setup tasks by standardizing the settings, templates, and ensuring the consistency in design and documentation. Now, that will surely save time and minimize some of the errors.
Absolutely.
Right? So now, looking into this, if you move into the next slide, we will see how the key components of these features are actually presented. Okay. So on the slide here, what we see is just a mechanical default template. So at least Autodesk done some favors for us because we've got something that we can start from, right? So which is good. Some of the stuff actually preset for us to start from it. So like I say, most of the time in my class as well, like we create from the existing. So we don't break the out-of-the-box families that we are coming up or preloading into the project and stuff like that, right? So the most important thing that I can point out now is that we seem to be missing the MEP settings when we are actually dealing with templates. That is most important when you are setting up your template. And then project information settings as well is most important, as you know that that will actually set up for your project going forward into the requirements of what the client needs. Right? So the filters and view templates are mostly important as well. The schedules, I mean, system types, I mean, I can name a few now, but if we can go into details, like sometimes you'll have problems with the project units, right? And you need to know how to set that up from the onset. Before you can even start a project, those setting up are very much important.
That's exactly right. You're speaking about starting a project and have to redo that every time you start a new project. That's a lot of time wasted.
That's a lot of time wasted.
Whereas if it's sorted out in the templates, it's done. You do it once and it's consistently ready for you.
Exactly, exactly. So now what we need is a why templates matter.
Absolutely.
That question, I'm sure it comes to everybody's mind. And we are wondering that how we can actually reduce that time in order to start a project. I mean, I'm sure every firm or every user of Revit has got that pain point of starting a project.
It's always a schlep, just to basically get the wheels turning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, looking into it, there are key benefits for starting it or customizing a template.
Yeah,
so those key benefits, one of them is saving time, right?
Yes.
And the other one is to improve the consistency across those disciplines. Correct. So now it's very clear that if we are structuring this within our template, obviously we won't do anything wrong within the project, and you obviously be saving time, and you'll be enabling the automation and compliance even on those templates. So the focus here is on accuracy and quality and speed. Okay. Those are the key features of BIM. And I don't know, Dario, if you want to add something into ensuring that.
Yeah, look, in terms of, and those are big things, you know, small statements, but big things. I mean, if you could start a project 4 times faster, you know, that's already a win. And I'm consistently able to do it the same way, you know, whether it's a 20-year veteran or someone that's basically just gone through, you know, company induction, they'll be able to hop on and know what to do. So, I mean, that's you know, in terms of efficiency, that those two drivers are going to just multiply your capability. And then compliance, I mean, that's obviously essentially a byproduct, and then the ability to automate. Yes. Automation depends on standardized and systemic source data.
Yes, no, that's true. We're just going to try and look into do we have any questions? I don't know. That screen just disappeared now.
Yeah, that's it. It's Friday.
Oh man, yeah.
Okay. Doesn't look like there are any at this point.
There's no questions at this point. Okay.
We can carry on, I think.
Yeah. So now to ensure the quality that we have implemented, those quality checks, and we need to ensure the methods into our MEP design and modeling workflow. Some of the key benefits still continues, and obviously within the templates you will see we have an organogram, right? Yes. And these views that are on the project browser, it's very much important for MEP, because MEP doesn't only have disciplines, but it does have sub-disciplines. So this allows us to have some view consistency. And then we can also apply some filters there, some view templates, color codes, you know, make everything good, because that will clear our mind in what we are doing.
Yes, it lets you focus on the modeling.
Exactly. So obviously now I'm showing you the clean slide of how a project browser is being set up, right? This was from a client of ours that we did this template for, and they were quite happy with having this template. You can see that all the views are organized correctly, and they're organized according to their workflows and processes. So now it's very much important to also remember, sometimes we do have difficulties when we ask or require this information from the client that we are creating this template for.
Yeah.
And sometimes they will take longer to even feed us that information back.
Yes.
So now it brings inaccuracy in what we need to provide to them. But I would like to just recommend that we need to work together in this from the onset. So collaboration is key also.
Absolutely.
And our communication throughout saves time, because now if we can understand what your workflows are, and we can impose our workflows on top of that and teach you how you can efficiently work on your own template. So you can see on the right-hand side, there is another project browser from this chaotic project, all right? They didn't name their organogram, the project browser correctly. You don't see any sub-disciplines there.
Nothing.
Nothing. You don't see any legends and symbols that we included.
You're going to be navigating for weeks on that tab.
If I will continue and will collapse that legend, there is absolutely nothing there to show. And that brings us to now the scheduling things, because of when we are doing scheduling and pre-scheduling, pre-built scheduling actually help us to make sure that when we are modeling, we are tracking out the model throughout our design phase. All right. So I'm going to introduce you again. If there's no questions again, I'm going to just introduce you to.
There is a question, I think.
The first one.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the mouse quickly here.
Okay, give us a sec. Is it because we shared the screen?
I'm not actually sure, man. Okay.
Sorry, guys, we're just having a little technicalities here on the side, but we will try to. We will try to address this.
Thanks. Thanks for the understanding there. Okay. Okay, so Sally's basically said, even though I have Revit templates in place, MEP projects struggle to get off to an efficient start. Yeah, the templates, it's a rabbit hole. There is so much that you have to actually consider, and being in different disciplines, I mean, it's more evident, I would say. It's not just simply a case of, okay, this is what my tag's going to look like, you know, graphically. It's how it works, and for the most part, a lot of firms, especially those that are starting off with, they're starting off with a basic template. You're going to grow, you're going to evolve, okay? You're going to optimize your systems. And where the struggle is that those growth points don't actually get fed back into the template. And it's one thing that I always say, and I'm sure Kupana is the same, it's a living document. Yes. You're always going to basically be tweaking and adjusting. You know, it's like a car mechanic, you know, hammering on a spark plug at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. Just because it gets a bit, look, I wouldn't hammer on a spark plug, but in any case. But that's essentially one of the main reasons. But eventually, you know, with respects to this work into the templates, your cadence is gonna become almost autopilot, and that's basically when you'll start to see the gains. You know, starting up. So and it's also not one of those things that you can outright train. Okay, it's a qualified by experience sort of scenario, but we can go a long way to mitigating that, which is why you know, the big thing is to basically reach out. Because again, one thing Kopano did mention earlier on is that essentially your company template is fingerprint. It's unique to your company. The next guy down the road might have a template as well, and there are nuanced differences, and that's going to start to speak to workflow. You know, how you do exactly what you do inside your organization, as opposed to the guy down the street.
True, because it seems like most teams don't know the rules of a template. That's why there's a lot of inconsistency within it.
Yeah, it's like a guardrail.
Exactly. And then also not knowing how to apply your compliance. I mean, BIM, that is the most important thing with this BIM requirement. Right? You need to understand how you can comply with those requirements. Right? So, and another thing that most MEP users are actually still doing is the manual work within the template. There's a lot of manual work that still remains, and that needs to be addressed, because I mean, we can automate some of the stuff. We can automate with Dynamo or Revit, for instance.
Absolutely.
We can make sure that the template family is not outdated.
100%. Work on it all the time. You do have a slide about Dynamo, right?
Yes, okay. I do have a slide. So to save you that for last, don't worry. To save you that. So thanks, Sally, for that question. Do we have another question?
Yeah, it looks like Eric has asked. Hi, Erica. Pre-project setup and client consultation, client and consultant information sharing affect template development. Very, very good question. Again, you're leveraging project-specific requirements into a template. It is going to impact on project startup, bottom line. Okay, the objective is to minimize it, and that's where industry sort of standardization comes in. So things like a BIM execution plan, you know, with mandated requirements. That's you know, that's going to help.
Exactly. And I know, for instance, sometimes when our users, our Revit users, will move from company to company, they will actually grab the same templates that is working efficiently within the previous company and try to apply that to the new company. So at times you are actually, what you're doing, you're taking the assets from the previous company to the new company, and those shared parameters can't actually speak with each other. That's why you would have those templates that's not matching with the BIM requirement. So it's very much important to point out also. All right, so if there's no questions, let's see if we can go to the next slide. And like Dario said, we can mitigate all of this. You can come back to us, and what we do at Moderna, we actually let's do this. We organize information into systems. All right. So what happens if we don't have customized templates? So our next slide introduces us to more on the project phase now, right? So there are 10 ways to spot project failure, all right? So some project managers do have these experiences through the Revit users as well. But then it dives down to the outdated families and parameters that's not set up correctly, or no standards at all right? So the teams don't know the templates, right? We mentioned that before, and obviously sometimes you ignore the client's insights or requirement. Okay, so scopes can be creeps as well. They can change the scope at any point in time, and now you need to mitigate also that. So poor structure, all right, that's happening, and there is not aligned with BIM, as you can see, and then the lack of automation as well. So with these, this is why most of the project would fail, I think, because now, as you can see on the slide, you've got warning issues, Revit is complaining, and when Revit is complaining, then it's a problem and an issue for you to even go forward, right? So let's see if we want to change. Okay. So now we come into the DNA of a strong MEP template. So when we talk about the DNA, I'm sure you're wondering what the hell is that has to do with template, but we can make an example, right? The next slide shows you the different types of DNA types that we have in the industry. You have the architecture type, right, which has the heart and the face and the physical body in spiritual form, right? And then you've got the structure, which is the strong foundation of civils and structures.
The bones of it.
The bones of it, all right? And then you have the MEP.
Which is your circulatory system. That's actually a very, very good analogy there.
All right, so you see how this now for MEP, what's important is the parameters.
We've got a question.
I've got a question.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, but how can MEP templates keep designs accurate and consistent across all the different disciplines on a project? So BIM execution plan mandate is a way to basically give a holistic solution. But again, if you try to conform to industry standards, your insertion into the project ends up becoming less painful, actually.
Exactly.
I hope that answers the question there.
As I was going to say, everyone must use the same families, parameters, and symbols to make things easier for themselves.
Yes.
And obviously, the standard views and sheet template keep the drawing uniform. So that is a bonus if ever you need that accuracy and consistency within or across the teams. And we will share parameters, ensure that all the schedules pull the right data from it as well. So it's very much important. I hope we answered that question correctly. Right by the DNA. Which means we're still there, right? So I was about to say when the question came through that the heart, you don't see the heart on the MEP, right? But within that fluid and the air and the current within the electric, right? You can see that there is actually the heart that is actually making sure that there is something that is driving the current through. So those are called parameters. All project parameters. And that is the heart of the template. And they define your model's intelligence. So when structured properly, by discipline, systems, and data type, they will actually unlock your analytics and schedules.
Absolutely agreed.
Yes. So let's see, going into the next slide now. We're going to look into how we can standardize some of the stuff and maybe improve in efficiency, which is we can reduce manual work with Dynamo. So I'm going to give it to you.
Thanks.
Dario.
Yeah, I hope some of you at least try to explore Dynamo, but what you're seeing on screen here is just an example of automation that we basically looked at. Started a project here with empty sheets essentially. And just to show you the power of this, okay, we started with 0 sheets. Okay, the Dynamo script is basically going to run you through, and we're going to end up with 576 sheets.
No wait.
Yeah, 576 sheets. That is absolutely mind-boggling. So how long do you think that would take traditionally?
576
sheets, yeah. It's a while, eh? Yeah,
weeks,
a couple of weeks.
Maybe.
Some guys maybe, consistent time block, they maybe smash those out in about 4 days, a couple of weeks. And how much does it cost? Okay.
Can imagine.
So the total video time here, just to give you an indication, and as you can see there on screen at the moment, you can see the sheet list is empty. This total video took just over 1.5 minutes. Okay, as opposed to a week.
That is very beneficial.
That's something you can't afford not to take note of, and Dynamo is essentially a toolbox that will adapt and conform to whatever you need it to do. So definitely worth something to start thinking about and looking at. Okay, I think this video loops. We do have a question here. Solid template backbone reduces manual work, those repetitive tasks. So the template obviously acts as a framework to standardize and conform things like naming conventions and that sort of stuff, which will then allow you to use something like computational design Dynamo to basically automate. So big ones at the moment are like your sheets, getting those on. If you're using ISO 19650, you're able to start leveraging that naming convention on this very, very easily, as well as things like if you need a consistent set of work sets, if you're work sharing, Dynamo is going to be able to pull that from one model and push it into the other, as opposed to the traditional way, which is to sit, okay, open, copy, paste, open, copy, paste. And as you know, Revit doesn't go through the same clipboard. Every session of Revit has its unique clipboard. And again, a lot of folks, they fall over with that a little bit. So I hope that does answer your question, but definitely, you know, a solid backbone will allow for a consistent application of this. So I hope that answers your question.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
It looks good even with the playback.
I think we move on to some benefits next
Yes.
of Dynamo. So essentially, your sheet creation, your schedules, it automatically repeats that for you. So there's the heavy lifting.
Yes.
Dynamo scripts in templates embedded. So essentially what's going to happen there is that your Dynamo scripts are going to be prepared to start off on a specific base, and then, you know, consistently automate things. As an example, work sets, you can't build that into a template, but the Dynamo script can basically run it once you enable work sharing, as a very good example. Coordination time, if you are using Dynamo for coordination, that's like a 40% cut in the time. That's astronomical. I mean, you know, four team members on, it's heavy. 4 team members on, 40% of their time cut. You know, to hop on to do other stuff, how quickly is that going to get basically push your project down the road?
It's very standard workflows that removes guesswork and
absolutely
work
confidence built in.
Exactly, that's very good. All right, so do we have another question or not?
How important are things like data structure and parameter planning when building it? Essential, Sally. It is essential.
It is.
Taking a couple of hours to plan that and then actually you know, implementing it are going to basically save you a lifetime of headaches and time, as opposed to basically just flailing about in the dark. So absolutely essential. If you can plan and have that speak to your business processes, that's the sweet spot.
I agree, because organized data actually makes your automation possible. And good data structure would actually ensure a clean export to your IFCs,
absolutely
classifications.
That's all a happy coincidence or happy addition to. So
exactly, without even any headache.
Absolutely.
As you can see that. So thank you, Sally, for the question. Moving on to the next slide.
So yeah, what I popped up here is essentially some use case scenarios that are MEP centric. You know, bulk sheet creation, that's a big one. 576 sheets in a minute. Parameter population. You know, if you've got a lot of parameters that need to be populated, instance-based parameters, you know, maybe a zone or a space, yes. That, you know, have unique ones, Dynamo will be able to lift a lot of the weight, as opposed to manually and typing it into a schedule, or even worse, you going into an element and then finding the parameter and dying of old age trying to basically type it in and then moving on to the next one, so on and so forth. Bulk renaming of, heck, I've used this for anything. Families. I've used this for, I've used bulk renaming to change material names.
Yeah.
You know, from an interiors perspective, Dulux paints.
Yes.
You know, I needed to basically differentiate between, say, Dulux and Plascon. So I've used it for that, and that can go a long way in terms of from an MEP-centric workflow as well. Geometry creation from an MEP perspective, I put it in there because it's obviously still valid, but I mean, I've seen some structural stuff where, you know, you literally push a slider in Dynamo and your entire structure changes. So in terms of iterative design, that's That's a game change.
That's a game changer.
Typical housekeeping as well. Imported geometry, imported CADs versus linked CADs. You know, SPIM managers generally tend to, you know, swallow our tongues when looking for that. In-place families, I'm closing my eyes. And then, of course, data extraction. So, you know, the amount of MEP and structural data is astronomical by comparison. So, to be able to get that out, and then what that essentially does is it puts someone in the office who maybe doesn't know how to use Revit. It puts the company in a position where they can employ them on the project. Yeah. So you diversify, you spread the load essentially. So. Yes. Definitely use cases worth taking a look at.
That's pretty good. And obviously, like you said, they need to come to us.
Yeah, please, guys.
Make sure that we
give us a call. Pop in for
services.
Nice cup of coffee.
To MEP as well. Just one more thing that I wanted to clear out, MEP guys. I know that, for instance, Dynamo might be daunting.
Yeah, right? It can be to start off with.
Yeah, because some are still daunted by just utilizing Revit. So there's an expansion of automation. So these are the Christmas gifts that Revit gives us. And these are the things that we need to look into and start learning now because of, think about it, if you have to do like 500 projects in the next 12 months.
So
Dynamo can actually come into play.
Absolutely.
Is there another question?
Yeah, another question from Anonymous. Hi, Anonymous. What should we do and what can businesses do to make sure, so I hope I'm reading this right, make sure their Revit MEP templates stay relevant? Standards and delivery methods do keep changing, and how do we future-proof? Well, I suppose the best answer to that would be to acknowledge and know that your Revit template is a living document. And a lot of people think it's just the RTE file. Your shared parameters are part of your Revit template. Sure. If you have source files, you know, systems and that sort of thing. I mean, how often do we work on a nuclear waste facility? If I've got the system in place, I can basically then just open up a blank standard project template and then, you know, just retrofit it to be able to facilitate that need. Knowing that it's going to be a living document and then hammering away, you know, how you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, with respects to pretty much everything. And Revit templates are included. If you keep hammering away at it, it's a better template.
True.
Yeah, and then obviously document what you do, which is something I'm pretty bad at.
Yeah. We don't want to say that out loud.
No, I'm not better at it.
So maybe just to add to that question, I think it's very much important to keep also the template at a modular or lean size.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, we have seen some where the templates are actually 200 to 500 megs.
And that's without even putting in a duct or a light. Oh, yeah, no.
That's not easy to update or upgrade to your new Revit as well.
A lot of people don't actually know this, but Autodesk's recommended maximum Revit file size is 160 megs. And you're starting off with a 200 meg template.
200 meg, it's not going to work.
You're already over the limit. So yeah, it's definitely something to think about. So what Kopano said now, what you said now, Bud, is it's something to look at. So
it's very vital.
Absolutely.
When you're looking at at least the maximum Mac that is allowed would be like 20 to 25. Right.
Yeah.
That is a perfect size.
It's a sweet spot.
With every automation that's inside, I mean, that is very proficient for you to start a project. Clean slate. All right. So we can take it forward. Sad that we are coming now to our conclusion, but
Eric has popped a quick one in there. Ways to make a template leaner. Very good question there, Erica. So ways to make a template leaner are to basically remove the fluff. Now, that's a very subjective statement. What Kopano might need, I might think is irrelevant and vice versa. However, the use of the concept of a source file or reference project, okay, is basically going to answer that question and get you where you need to be, in short. Yeah.
If I can add
Okay,
if I can add to that question, America. Another thing that we need to remember that preloaded families are not system families. So what only sits perfectly within the template is your system families. So your preloaded families sit outside of the template, and you will then link in as you need for project requirement. So that is something that can keep it lean as well. And then also your annotation symbols, they live within your template, and they're very light. The families are very light in size, so they're not going to even maximize your template.
Yeah.
So that is something that we needed to point out and review. All right. So this brings us to our conclusion. Oh, man. Next slide. Data-driven design. This is the backbone now. This is how we will streamline Revit, right? As you can see there, with Revit MEP template customization, you'll be allowed to be faster in delivering your project. You will reduce design cost. You will have a higher accuracy and risk-free.
Yeah, significantly less risk.
Exactly. That is also another way of, you can also future-proof on digital delivery.
That living document, absolutely.
So now this is the elimination of inconsistency within your project, and this can make sure that you are compliant as well. I mean, not forgetting the ISO 19650 that we need to imply within our templates from the onset. And then you take it from project to project. You can even transfer those projects, all right, parameters. I mean, even the code-driven design standards, you can set in your SAN standards, your NEC, your ASHRAI, NFPA. You can even insert them in your template as well. And that sorts out your documentation and workflow through your processes.
I'm just having a look at your impact statement over there. Better collaboration, cleaner models, elimination of personal modeling habits that cause inconsistency. Couldn't have put it better.
That says it all, man. That says it all. Yeah, so this brings to our conclusion. And do we have any other questions? Doesn't seem like it. Please, guys, do remember to do the house if ever you've got questions there. But if you want to talk to us after this, all right, there is actually an additional info and feedback form. If you can just scan that,
please pop it in. Anything you need, and then we'll get an answer back to you. I reckon probably by Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty quick, and we can basically leverage the resources that we have to get who you need in front of you as soon as we possibly can.
Yes.
So please feel free to reach out. Cost a phone call, and then we'll sort you out with a cup of coffee when you pop in. Yes. And have a chat. Oh, that's the best.
Have a chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
A few discussions here and there.
Couple of comfortable couches, yeah.
All right, thank you guys for joining us. We shall see you soon.
Yeah, pop in.
Okay, cheers.